So let's now get to Donald Trump's Minnesota rally on Friday night. This one was bizarre and surreal. One such surreal moment was Donald Trump, still unaware that Ruth Bader Ginsburg had died, starts talking about the Supreme Court, and you can actually hear people in the background yelling, "Ginsburg is dead." People in the crowd who have heard the news on their phone, for example, you're actually going to hear, as Donald Trump is just sitting up there like a fool ranting about the Supreme Court, you will, because it's so quiet, because the crowd doesn't know what to make of these bizarre rants by Donald Trump, you can actually pick out, you'll hear two female voices about 10 seconds in, and then a male voice about 30 seconds in yelling, "Ginsburg is dead." Totally surreal. People on the stage behind Trump starting to look around as news starts to spread.
And that's why the Supreme Court is so important. The next president will get 1, 2, 3, or 4 Supreme Court justices. I had to. Many presidents have had none. They've had none because they're there for a long time. They tend to be appointed young. They're there for a long time. But the next one will have anywhere from 1 to 4. Think of that. That will totally change when you talk about life, when you talk about Second Amendment, when you talk about things that are so important to you. You're going to be stuck for 40 years, 35 years, a long time. So this is going to be the most important election, in my opinion.
Just surreal is the only word I can think of to describe this environment. Trump earlier in the rally going on an unusual screed about how Robert E. Lee would have won the Civil War had it not been for Gettysburg. Trump outrageously praising the top general in the fight to maintain slavery in the United States during the Civil War.
And he was getting beaten a lot by Robert E. Lee. They want to rip his statue down all over the place. But Robert E. Lee was whether you like him or not, whether you like statues or not, they don't rip statues down anymore. Signed a law. 10 years in jail. They don't rip them down. But Robert E. Lee won many, many battles in a row, and it was supposed to be over in one day. It was supposed to end immediately because the North was too powerful for the South. But it just shows when you have leaders, when you have a great general, and Robert E. Lee, he would have won except for Gettysburg, and that was because his general was killed, who was going to lead Gettysburg. Never fight uphill, me boys, never fight uphill. He heard they were going uphill. Stop them. But we had no cell phones in that day, right, Congressman? No cell phones. So they sent the horses to stop them, but it was too late. They fought uphill and they got slaughtered. That's what happened. But Robert E. Lee, these were incredible things.
And then you might have noticed there, on top of just a ridiculous, outrageous message, Donald Trump slurring his way through this one as well. Gettysburg, as you heard there. Trump early in the rally did some pretty direct racist red meat. Here he is talking about whether people are enjoying having refugees around. Particularly odd because at least some of these refugees came in during Donald Trump's presidency. This is part of Donald Trump running on changing the country, even though he's been president for the last 4 years.
One of the most vital issues in this election is the subject of refugees. You know it perhaps better than almost anybody. Lots of luck. You having a good time with your refugees? That's good. We want to have Omar. Yeah, he said Omar. That's a beauty. How the hell did she win the election? How did she win?
These are rallies unlike anything we've seen in American history outside obscure white nationalist KKK type candidates and authoritarian dictators in the 20th century, mostly in other countries. That's what these rallies remind me of. Trump seems completely unaware that he's the incumbent rather than an outsider. He keeps talking as if winning in November would be a change in leadership. He's been president for 4 years.
You're going to win so much, and you're going to send Jason to the U.S. Senate. And you're going to keep winning and winning and winning. You're going to win on trade. You're going to win on the military. You're going to win on everything you touch. Minnesota is going to keep on winning. And you're going to get tired of winning because Minnesota doesn't want to win all the time. Your football team is going to win in the Big Ten, they say, right? No, we're going to keep on winning in Minnesota, and you're going to get so tired. You're going to say, Jason, please, Jason, go to the president. See him in the Oval Office.
So if that topic is interesting to you, Trump running as if someone else has been president, check out my YouTube clip from a couple of weeks ago called Trump running as if someone else has been president. And then again, Donald Trump raising this idea of so-called patriotic education. It's still not totally clear what it means, but it's certainly not good.
We will stop the radical indoctrination of our students and restore patriotic education to our schools. Big deal. We will teach our children to love our country, honor our history, and always respect our great American flag.
This continues to play on the notion that education is some kind of left-wing indoctrination instead of just recognizing the reality that the more people know how to think, the more people have critical thinking and epistemology skills, the less likely they are to fall for the bamboozling of Donald Trump and the Republican Party. Trump at one point urged the My Pillow guy, Mike Lindell, to run for governor of Minnesota.
Just tell him I'm very unhappy, right? This is what these guys, they're good businessmen, by the way. These guys right here, Mike, they might be better than you. I don't even know. He may be the next governor. You know, Mike Lindell may be. You should run. You should run.
That's another one of those moments where Trump is saying, let me put it this, let me put it a different way. When Trump says something this crazy, 20% of what's sick is that Trump is saying it. 80% of what's sick is that the crowd claps and that the crowd will go forever, anything Trump says. Trump then told a totally incoherent story, the likes of which we would normally hear from like some drunk guy at a bar.
So I said to the general, General, 5.7 billion. That sounds very high to me, General. I've bought a lot of planes in my life and a lot of helicopters. I know a lot about it. How could it be 5? Sir, that's the best price they could get. We only have one day to do it. I said, cancel it, General. Cancel the order. It was signed, actually. Yes, sir. I said, you have the right to cancel. Yes, sir, I do. We negotiated a great deal. I said, oh, good.
Trump has this uncanny ability to get these crowds to be completely silent during his strange stories. In this clip, Trump still seems confused about whether stealth planes are literally invisible to the naked eye rather than just being invisible to radar.
They're bigger. They're more powerful. They're smarter. And I like Tom Cruise, by the way, because, I mean, you can't get much better than Top Gun, right? Great movie, right? You can't get better. I like Tom Cruise. But these guys are better looking than Tom. They got the crew cut. They got the crap under their eyes. They got the whole deal. They're smart as hell. So I said, so, Captain, let me ask you, how good is the F-35? Real good, sir. Best plane we've ever had. Oh, great. I said, how do you compare that with what Russia has? Well, ours is better for a specific reason, sir. You can't see it. What does that mean? Well, when we fight, they cannot see us, sir. We are so stealth. Now, that doesn't mean in 3 years that it won't be obsolete, because that's what happens. That's the problem with that business.
Of course, military equipment getting obsolete, it's actually a feature of the military-industrial complex. And then Trump slurred his way through telling the crowd that he could be living a luxurious life right now, but instead he's sitting in an airport hangar with these people.
I could right now be having a very beautiful life of luxury, and here I am at a hangar in Minnesota with 15 or 20 or 25,000 people. And thousands of people that couldn't get in, and I'm working my ass off. I could be at home having a good time, wonderful time. But the one thing I say this...
Just complete cognitive dissonance. Trump telling the crowd, I could be at my penthouse instead of with you people. And they cheer, we love Trump. Amazing. And this isn't all of it. We will be looking after the break at one more rally in Nevada. One of our sponsors today is Vincero Watches, and they're giving you up to 30% off everything in their store when you go to davidpakman.com/watch. If you're looking for an awesome way to update your look, the perfect way to do it is with an elegant, high-quality wristwatch. When there's a company like Vincero, there is no reason to go spending thousands of dollars on a watch. Vincero is an American company that's made it possible to own an excellent watch without breaking the bank. All of their watches are masterfully built with high-end materials, but they're all in the range of about $150 to $250. I just got a watch from their Icon Automatic collection. The one I got is in gunmetal and slate blue. I love the look. It's sleek, classy. It's clear that a lot of careful craftsmanship went into the design. It is definitely my new favorite watch. You'll get up to 30% off everything in their store when you go to davidpakman.com/watch. I've put the link right underneath this video.